do two things. Either A, attack them from America, or do hijrah to pure Muslim lands and reclaim your dignity and honor. The main narrative of Islamophobes is the following. Islam is at war with the West. Two sides of the same perverse, perverted coin, fueling each other. We get stuck in the middle. However, if you look at the reality of American Muslims right now, mashallah, we're doing pretty well. Above average income as a group. Muslim women are the most educated women of any religious group, just behind Jewish American women. Give yourselves a round of applause, Muslim women. The most diverse religious communities in America are Muslims. We are mainstream, I don't know what that means, but it's a good word. We're moderate, don't know what that means, it's a good word. We are still uniquely optimistic about the American dream and America's future. And if you really take it if you really step back and think about it, despite all the bad news, the entire world mourned the passing of the most iconic American sports hero last year. Who was it? And alhamdulillah, America elected a Muslim president twice. Just kidding. I say this from certain audiences, they're like, I'm just kidding. The reason why I'm mentioning is this, look, the reality of American Muslims right now, overwhelmingly, taken as a group, mashallah, we're doing above average, we've achieved the American dream. The perceptions are the following. There's a lower favorability rating of Islam and Muslims now than it was a month after the 9/11 attacks. Let that sink in. 67% increase against 67% increase in hate crimes against Muslims. 195% increase in anti-Muslim hate groups in the past 2 years. When I was growing up, the worst thing I was called was Gandhi, which is a compliment. I said, thank you for calling me a pacifist leader who, along with millions of others, helped overthrow 200 years of British imperialism and helped create 3 nation states. I appreciate it. And then they just looked at me and said, you're fat. And they walked away. But now our sisters, young women, who just happen to wear the hijab, born and raised in this country, are now being assaulted and threatened by teachers. If you have a Muslimi name, employment discrimination claims go up. In Kansas recently, 2 Indian Hindu immigrants were assaulted. One was killed because the hate monger thought he was one of them being Muslims. The first hate crime after 9/11 was of who? Anyone? Balbir Singh, wearing a turban, dark skin, beard. He was shot and killed because the hate monger said, we want to get those who are responsible for the 9/11 attacks. If you notice something about bigots, they aren't really nuanced and sophisticated.
Right.
However, there's a huge divide here, and I want to say this. We blame everyone else, but I also want to look inward. There was a remarkable study that came out after 9/11 that said 90% of American Muslims were of 4 occupations. Business was the catch-all, business. Medicine, engineering, and then the 4th one, anyone want to guess what the 4th one was? You can think stereotypically. You wanted to say, it was taxi, cabs. That left 10% for who?
Oh, the unemployed.
Tell me who else? Who are we missing?
Teachers.
Teachers. Who else?
Lawyers.
Lawyers. Who else? Accountants. Who else? Imams. Who else?
Armed service members.
Congressmen. Congressmen, elected officials.
Yeah.
Who else? Yeah, tell me more.
Laborers.
Where are poets? Where are directors? Where are novelists? Where are actors? Where are Shakespeare's? Where is the Rumi of DC? Where is the Rumi of Maryland?
The artists.
Where is the Rumi of Virginia? We always look past. Mashallah, we had Rumi. I'm like, wow, mashallah, we did have Rumi. Where are our Rumis now? And remember,
behind me.
they're all behind us, mashallah. But we need to make them right now. We have Ryan. We need to multiply Ryan by 10,000. And if there's one thing I say, and I'm ending in 2 minutes, remember this. If you aren't writing your story, remember your story is being written for you by others. And if you aren't telling your story is always being told to you by others. And unfortunately, even though, mashallah, we have tremendous successes, the problem is many of us have reduced ourselves to either footnotes or sidekicks or spectators. And it sucks and it stinks and it's hard and there's racism and there's bigotry and there's Islamophobia mainstreamed from the Oval Office. Did not think I would live to see that. But every generation has a unique challenge. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said this beautiful hadith, which a writer reminded me of, that said, even if you see the day of judgment coming, plant a seed. Even if you see the day of judgment coming, plant a seed. Our faith commands hope. It commands labor. It commands investment. It commands being the better person. It commands sabr, patience. It commands when someone spits at you, instead of spitting back, you respond in a better way. And it also commands us reaching out our hands, saying Assalamu alaikum and telling our story. And before I let you go, I want to break down something real quick. It's called the 6 steps of storytelling. It's the fundamentals of storytelling, and it's just something I want you to think about over the weekend. Every major story can be broken apart with these 6 steps. If you don't believe me, just we can do Cinderella together. All right? Here we go. Every major story. It's called the classic storytelling structure. Number 1, once upon a time, ... Number 2, and every day, ... And number 3, until one day, ... 4, and because of this, ... Number 5, and because of that, ... And finally number 6, and ever since that day, ... Step 1, once upon a time. What happens in a once upon a time?
Plot.
Plot, setting, setup. Who are you talking about? Where, when, what time? So once upon a time, a group of Muslims and their friends assembled at the America's Islamic Heritage Museum to hear the son of an immigrant bore them for 20 minutes. Number 2, and every day, ... What's this? What's every day? It sets up what's normal in the world, the routine. So set this up for me. Once upon a time, we established once upon a time. And every day, someone give me, add on to the story. Imam Saab, add on to the story. And every day.
And every day they ate biryani.
Every day they ate biryani and fried chicken. Number 3, dun dun dun, until one day. What happens with until one day? Problem, the challenge, the turning point. Give me a turning point. Imam Saab. Until one day.
Donald Trump was elected president.
Alright, great. A Cheeto-colored man with tiny fingers named Donald Trump was elected president. Okay, that's a good crisis. Step 4. And because of this, how do the characters respond to the problem? And because of this, ... Sister, give me a verse. Add on to the plot.
Division and hatred
Okay.
spread across the U.S.
Division and hatred spread across the U.S. I'll also add fear. Okay.
Yes.
Now, and because of that, ... the consequences to the characters' responses to the division and hatred. So give me some proactive, protagonist, heroic responses. Move me forward to something better. So now we're a bunch of Muslims here and allies. Everything's going well. We're eating biryani and fried chicken. Donald Trump gets elected. OMG. Fear, division, hatred all across America tearing us apart. I need some heroes to rise up.
A child was born with light in his eyes.
What
And
was-
he asked his mother, "Where is the chicken?"
All right.
That's a nice term.
All right. Okay, we're there. We're almost there. I like it. No, we're wrong with it. Step 6. And ever since that day, ... It takes us to the resolution, the conclusion, the moral of the story. So far, we've got a bunch of Muslims and their allies in Washington, D.C. coming together. Everything's going well. Fried chicken, mac and cheese, biryani. Routine. We're living our life, getting a little bit of weight, but we're happy. Donald Trump gets elected president. OMG. WTF, as the kids say. Division, hatred, fear all across the land. Everything's torn asunder. But then a child is born. A child is born and says,
Where's the chicken?
"Where's the chicken?" Fill in the gaps, take me towards an ending.
So the people united,
You gotta take the kid with me though.
the people united, and they bought a big farm, about 600 acres, and they raised most chickens together.
And the routine was reestablished.
And the routine was, okay, so what's the moral of the story?
There was life after Trump.
Water came over.
There is life after Trump, what else?
Cable.
Yeah.
What else?
This too shall change.
This too shall change. What else?
Persevere.
Perseverance. What else? Overcame adversity. Congratulations, you guys all just wrote a story. It's a very simple setup, but in mission statements, in narratives, in essays, in bios, in fiction, believe it or not, if you're ever lost, you can use this as a compass. I'll say it again for you. Once upon a time, and every day, until one day, and because of this, and because of that, and ever since that day, ... And I hope this very brief introduction to storytelling, this very brief narrative arc of where we've been, where we are, can inshallah give us a vision for a future. Because I think the last thing I'll say about this, the one beautiful thing about fiction and narrative and storytelling is it allows us to imagine potential futures. It gives us the ability to think of a way out. It gives us an ability to imagine that maybe a biracial man, son of a Kenyan Muslim, named Barack Hussein Obama, could win the popular vote 2 times in a row and remind us of what a president can be and should be compared to what we have right now in the Oval Office. And if Barack Hussein Obama, a man who isn't Muslim, but 20% of registered voters still think he's Muslim in 2017, why not, maybe inshallah, in 8 years, 16 years, or 24 years, our children, or actually Muslims, why can't they be president? Why can't they be president? And why not? And you have to imagine that future. Thank you for your time. I hope that wasn't boring. That's all I'm saying.
Did Ishmael Reed teach you these 6 things?
No,
No?
no.
Because his story writing thing is already.
It doesn't, you don't have to do it this way. But it's a good, it's a classic guideline. And if you take most stories, even if you take like stories with like strange narrative arcs, you break them apart. Break apart Cinderella with this. It works. Lion King. Any Disney movie. Classic storytelling structure. Even Barack Hussein Obama's narrative. Alhamdulillah. So, thank you guys for your time. I hope that wasn't boring, and I look forward to addressing you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Brother Russell. The next component of it, our timekeeper, I hope, would stay more conscious. Okay, I have 7 minutes and Imam Johari comes in 7 minutes. I just wanted to share with y'all our story to help stimulate you with some ideas of your own story. I didn't learn it through no structure. I learned it through God's hand, through life. Journey is how I came to this. And this is why and I guess it's really coming from the Quran. The Quran is full of stories. I mean, when you read it, the last 40 years reading it, I mean, you think stories, you know. And I guess this is, and Brother would dissect, I will begin, I'm conscious because he said once upon a time. So I can get that part straight, okay? So, once upon a time, I moved from Connecticut to Richmond, Virginia, and I got a job opportunity. And the job opportunity was about sales. They asked me, can I sell? Can I sell? Man, I sold Islamic steaks, I sold fish, I sold the bean pie, and I sold drugs. Can I sell? Yeah, I can sell. But I couldn't tell them I sold these things. You know, so I told them I sold educational products. That Muhammad speak was education. I sold food products. Fish, the bean pies were food products. Thank God he didn't ask me, you know, what was the price. So I didn't have to lie. So I got a sales job. And because the Nation of Islam gave me discipline and I guess innate management skills was dormant within me, coming I guess from my father and my parents, that they moved me up into management. And this one guy asked me, and it was a Jewish guy, he called me a Yankee. Come from Connecticut down south. He said, you Yankee? I said, yeah. You know, I thought the Civil War we won. You know, so he did that just to test me, see what my response was. You know, but I'm comfortable who I am and what I was. That he was just trying to see the door open up. So as I got into management, I got into different positions and moving up. Where that one day in management, because I came from the Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad talking about do for self, do for self. So I always wanted to do for self, open my own business. So I learned this management skills. Now I want to go open up my own business, open up my own business. And I had a little bookstore downtown in Richmond, Virginia, with the big movies. Macy owned, well, this was like, Tallheimer was the Macy's of the South, the Gimbels of the North. And all these management people, they sat me on this committee. And I felt slighted. You know, I felt like Moses. I couldn't speak, or the unlettered man. You know, I didn't have the skill set. But based upon the Quranic story, you know, looking at Moses, when Moses got with all the magicians, and they all came down, and he said, "Do you all want me to cast down first, or you cast down?" So Moses said, "You cast down," because he was scared. You know, he couldn't speak clearly. So I know I couldn't speak clearly. I didn't have that language for it. So I said, "Y'all cast down." You know, so I held and listened to each one of them. All I did was summarize what they said. They thought I had the knowledge. They thought I had everything. So I felt like Moses, that stuff works. So I started applying and using the Quranic principles and values. So these stories help build my character. Taking the Quranic stories and the stories of my own life